Race important. Miles Chamberlain Weston. Alexander Massialas. Greg Massialas.
One of the most successful sports teams over the last 3 years has been the U.S. men's foil team. After winning a bronze medal at the 2016 Rio Olympic Games, they have been on a medal-winning pace like no other team in sports, culminating in 2019 with a #1 world ranking and topped off with a first-ever World Championship victory in Budapest. The team comprised of stunningly talented fencers Greg Massialas, Racing Bowden, Miles Chamberlain Watson, and Alexander Massialas, each with their own impressive accomplishments individually and as a team, have come together to form the championship-winning U.S. men's foil team.
They don't like it, but I call them the Fab Four. I really truly believe they are. And I think when we are at our best, nobody can touch us. The nice thing about our team is that we have a good group together, that we actually really are focused on the same mission. And I think that's the thing that makes our team better in so many ways. We want to succeed. It's not like we need to succeed, we want to succeed.
Doing great. One more, Gary. Doing great.
I think everybody has a little different individual approach to things, and that's important, and that actually kind of makes us strong as a team.
The bonds you make as a teammate really are something you can't explain with words, you know? It's like a band of brothers. We all trust each other on the strip and off the strip, and we know we'll be there for each other when we're celebrating, and we'll also be there for each other when the times are low and people are not doing so well.
I think we all complement each other in such a good way. If we were all the same personality, it would never work.
Greg Massialas, a 3-time Olympian, has been the national coach of the men's foil team since 2012. He has molded the team into the best in the world.
After the 2011 World Championships, I was appointed as national coach, and I knew that we had a strong team. It was just a matter of putting all the elements together. We had a lot of individual fencers doing really well, but on a team basis, we were struggling to make the top 8. And so the first thing was to try to get the team working together as a group and emphasize on the team. My approach to team building is to, #1, let these guys be responsible for themselves. When I became national coach, I didn't want to put myself in the center of whatever. It's not about me, it's about them.
One thing about Greg is he wants to win. That's the most important thing.
Greg Massialas is a brilliant coach. He's got drive and passion, a belief that the athletes and the team can win, and to me that's the key to success. Is you create an expectation and you pull together a really good group of athletes, which he has, and they stay together for long enough to become a good team and to win.
I don't think without Greg, there is the US team now. That's for sure. I mean, he's definitely left his stamp, both in his own fencing and also in his vision for fencing. Greg's amazing at having the belief that we are going to be the champions.
Garrick, who's sort of the veteran, he was from the 2008 Beijing Olympics, London, Rio. He's a very creative fencer. He has very fundamental technique, but at the same time, he really moves and creates some amazing stuff.
Garrick is just a supremely gifted athlete. Just so quick and creative, and his reflexes are so incredible. Every time you get on the strip with him, it can just feel like a whirlwind.
Garrick is a leader, but he's also just that person that your mom wants you to be. Like, he's literally like your mom would want you to, or my mom would want my sister to date someone like Garrick.
Garrick's the elder statesman, right? Like, he's been on the circuit even longer than we have. He made his first Olympic team in 2008. So he definitely has the most experience out of all of us. As far as a fencing standpoint, I think Garrick has to be the most classical out of all of us. He's always a guy you look at, he's in great position, he moves like crazy, like, he's, just looks like a beautiful fencer,
There you go. He's one person where I say, if you don't know anything about fencing, just watch Garrick. He's just purely athletic. He'd be good with any coach. He's fun to watch. He's just a freak of nature. And he's just like a great kid. He's got a great head on the shoulders.
My fencing is pretty active. I move up and down the strip a lot, make pretty big actions, and try to be athletic out there. Sometimes it goes my way, and sometimes I can get a little out of control, so I just have to find the nice medium ground.
Alexander, he's the anchor of our team. Finished with a silver medal, of course, in Rio. Anchor is an important role because that's when all the pressure comes down to one person. And so if you have a lead, you gotta be able to hold that lead. Or if we're down, we gotta be able to have confidence. Alexander's been doing this consistently, doing a great job, and everyone feels confident in that. It's kind of like the quarterback in some ways. If people feel confident in the quarterback, then the team usually does quite well.
Alex is just like brute will. You can always expect Alex to be a battle. He comes in waves. He has this technique that he's mastered that's like, he has this very, very strong attack, and you have to deal with it. And like when he's fencing well, it's like it's a show.
Alexander has developed a lot over the years. He's pretty patient at times and can find the openings and outthink his opponents, and then obviously still really athletic.
Alex, he's obviously incredible. He's got great legs, great leader, great kid, and he's just very focused.
I think a lot of people would say that I'm very unorthodox. I was trained classically the same way as my dad, but I guess I just developed a style that was very strange and unusual, untraditional. I found a way that works for me. Doesn't necessarily work for everyone else, but from the very beginning, I was never trained to do that.
If you look at Race, he's very intense, very focused, very strong emotional fencer, very technical, very clean.
Race is a student of the game. He really studies the opponents, and he's a little bit of firecracker as well.
Race is really fast, and he's so precise, and probably has some of the best technique out there in the world right now.
He's kind of taken the best from each coach he's been with, and now he's working with Cerioni, so he's learning more of the Italian style.
Race's latest coach is Olympic champion Stefano Cerioni, who has become a positive addition to the team leadership.
He was coaching the Italian team that we lost to in the London Olympics and then also in the Rio Olympics. For myself, I of course welcome anybody who's there to help our team.
Stefano is a champion, and I'm looking to be a champion, and he does special things for any team he goes to, and I think they know the advantage it is to have someone like that. I'm a guy who has fenced with many different styles and many very different techniques, and I like to think that I'm a student of the sport, and so when I win like a tactician. I like to break opponents down and pick them apart. For me, it's about like flexibility and being just like a real master of every section. So on the days when I'm fencing extremely well, I can take any opponent in the world and beat them on their strengths and their weaknesses. And so that's the kind of fencer I've always tried to be, and that's the fencer I hope I am.
Miles, who's, the most probably eccentric guy of the group, he's always laughing, always joking, but always like a big personality, yelling, screaming, always competing for every touch. Probably the most unconventional out of all of us. He's always hitting people in like strange ways, going for those flashy touches, and brings just like so much energy to our team when we're fencing the team event.
Miles is a really tall, athletic guy, so he's pretty exciting to watch. I mean, all of my teammates are, but he'll go up and down the strip, and he does a lot of actions with his hand. His hand is fast. He likes to flick and hit his opponents on the back and do some really creative things out there.
When he's able to hit these big 6 flicks and stuff, it really changes the course of the bout. Once he gets the energy into our group by doing these crazy things, everyone else is hyped up. You know, it feels like almost like a basketball team when, you know, someone does something crazy and everyone's up the bench like, what just happened, you know?
My own style of fencing would probably be, I mean, the word unconventional is obviously a given, but I think it's someone who takes a lot of risks. People say I'm flamboyant, but it's kind of just the way I was since I was a young kid. I don't like to kind of conform to the normal fencing posture or rules. But yeah, I'll probably say I'm very different, for sure.
It's a luxury to have 4 solid people. But I think that we're really lucky to have it. And the nice thing is everybody believes in what the other person does. And I think that confidence, both in myself and also with the team and the team players amongst themselves, that even if you're not fencing well, you're gonna come back and make it happen. And those are good things for us.
Being a part of the men's U.S. foil team is being part of the strongest team in the world.
I know all these guys are really good. We've all beaten each other, we've all lost to each other, and it's the day. You know, it's 15 touches. It's who bests each other and who's able to, you know, to take care of business on that day. I don't think we ever take it personally. I think a lot of us, in particularly our team, is very good at leaving the battle on the strip and getting off of it and being very happy with each other. And we go back in the room with each other, so it's even worse if somebody holds on to the anger. And we never do. We never have.
I just want to strive to be better and better, especially with this team every single day and, you know, every single year.
It's always such a good energy with the team. It's like, no matter what, if someone loses, we tell each other, we're men. So it's like, if you mess up, we'll tell you mess up. We still love you no matter what. So I think we've learned to kind of learn each other's quirks and idiosyncrasies about each other. And I think now it's just to put all pieces of the puzzle and just go out and shock the world.
Pour la deuxième demi-finale, je vais demander d'accueillir l'Américain
Nick is a new guy on the block for us. We had a very established team, and all of a sudden Nick comes in as the new guy on the block, and he really has integrated quite well.
Nick came in, he beat out Miles for the spot on the Olympic team. Losing Miles is difficult, but we've picked up Nick, and it's been awesome to work with Nick. He's been a great addition to the team.
His father's also a coach, and so that has been something that's been quite good, that his father has also been part of our staff here.
Nick is the young guy, and we give him a lot of shit just because he's the new guy. But Nick is still developing a lot, but he's creating his own path now too. I think he's very good, like, tactically, and I think that he's going to solidify his own style as he gets older now, because, you know, he's only been on the circuit now for a year.
Having the addition of Nikita on our team and losing the experience that Miles had was something that we had to adjust for, and he's done a great job. His fencing style is really quick, and he'll make 2 or 3 parries or remises before the other person even knows what happened. And so we're really excited to have him be a part of our Olympic gold medal push.
When Nick qualified for Olympics, that was the happiest moment after a very stressful season. That was the dream when he was a little kid, for him, of course for me, and that was the major accomplishment what I ever had.
When I made the Olympic team, it was definitely a big accomplishment. That's been my goal for the last few years, and I was definitely challenged to make this team because it's definitely one of the best that they've seen for sure. Coming into a team ranked #1 in the world, obviously there's high expectations going into the team, and just going to the team, I felt the winning atmosphere like immediately. As soon as this season was over, I definitely felt relieved, and I'm super excited to compete this summer.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials
World Health Organization has officially called it
COVID-19.
COVID-19.
will be increasing. Department of Health to declare a public
There's no
health
doubt
emergency.
that there will be
novel coronavirus outbreak spreading across the world.
When we found out about the postponement of the Olympic Games, it was kind of a challenging time for us. We just came back from a series of World Cups in Europe and Africa. Subsequently, then everything's on hold with the last World Cup, which was going to be in Anaheim, and all of a sudden the day before, it's canceled.
When I first heard the news that Anaheim, the Grand Prix, was postponed and all subsequent events were postponed for the foreseeable future at that time, we were like, okay, well, do we keep training or what's the deal? And then very quickly afterwards, it was clear that there was no way we were going to be able to fence in Tokyo, and it was pretty clear that all these cities would be shutting down.
Once we knew that the games were going to be postponed, I was just like, guys, just keep training, just keep ready until whatever you can do. We had issues, like in San Francisco, it was shut down. We couldn't be inside the club, so we had to actually be fencing outdoors.
The games being postponed was a very strange period because, it was a lot of ups and downs emotionally. And then it got pushed back, a year and a half, and you went from being basically in your prime, primed up and ready to go for the games, to having to completely revamp.
For the games to be canceled and all the question marks that there were, whether we'd stay qualified for those of us that had already secured a qualification, whether the games would be canceled completely or just postponed, there were all these question marks, and it was definitely one of those situations where you just kind of have to push all the doubts, all the concerns to the side, think about what you can do now and not worry and just kind of hope for the best.
At the same time, all the top countries that we compete with, at least, Russia, Italy, France, they had their professional systems that are kind of government controlled, so they were able to keep full-time training operations going. At the same time, we said, okay, well, that's fine, they're doing that, let's do what we do, because if we do what we do best, then we'll still beat them. We reassess, pull out the playbook, start again, preseason. The fencing specific stuff was a lot more limited through the summertime and early part, which sort of like you would normally do. And then subsequently then from October, November, to really start seriously.
We had to adapt to it. Fencing teaches you about adaptation and conforming to the challenges that are presented to you. And this was just another challenge we had to conform to. And if that's the only way I'm gonna be able to fence and train for the Olympics, so be it. I'm gonna go out there and do that, whatever it takes.
Obviously, it's been a tough year. There have been questions with uncertainties and new protocols and everything, but all we can do is continue preparing so that when we're finally able to compete, we're ready.
The pandemic pushing the games back was an opportunity for me to really reflect on everything, to kind of reorganize my life, step out of the world of sport for a second. And I do a lot of creative work, and the city really breathes that. And I think it's been nice for me to kind of dabble in those things that you put to the side for so long when you're constantly in the gym and constantly at competitions and constantly on the road. So there was a moment for that. And I think that was part of the silver lining to the pandemic. But I think the Olympic Games being back on is fantastic. I think that it gives a lot of hope to a lot of athletes, and a lot of people put so much time in and so much work that they deserve to have a moment to shine. And while it is important to be careful and to make sure everyone is safe, especially in Tokyo, we want to let those athletes be successful and have their moment.
A lot of times when you're training for Olympics, you can feel a little bit burnt out, but this really, it's really helped me show that, hey, I want to go back into the club. I want to keep training. And that for me was all I needed to push through and really be inspired to continue training. And once the IOC nailed down the dates for Tokyo, it was just like a nice weight off my shoulders, because I knew definitively that we had this date where the competition was going to be happening, and I could just, train basically around that.
The Olympic Games is such a special event that how you feel about yourself and your team has a big part to do it. And this period here has really helped us intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, which I think is really critical when you're looking at the Olympic Games.
I think our toughest competition in Tokyo are probably going to be Italy, France, Russia, but Japan has upset countries in the past and won medals in team events, and many of the other countries have a lot of talent too. So when we get there, we're not going to underestimate anyone.
Italy and Russia. I mean, Russia in particular, we just have such, I think there's a little more animosity when we fence. After losing them at the Olympic Games, coming in and just fencing them, it's like every time it's a real battle. And we just, you know, it lights us up. It's something happens to our team when we fence those guys, and like, it brings the best out of all of us.
I think everybody knows that as much as we wanted medals, we want gold medals.
This is something that we felt in Rio, that we have unfinished business. The team is really determined on this goal, and I think that, yeah, we feel like we're ready to go for golds.
You sometimes forget that we're doing something pretty special right now. But for me, the main goal is Olympic gold.
For me to go out and be able to fence for the guys and fence with each other, that medal's super special. It's a very special medal to have.
We're gonna be focused on fighting for gold and you know, compromising for nothing less than that. So it's a big team effort.
I think our biggest competition is ourselves, because I believe if our guys are fencing at their level, we're unstoppable. It's going to be an exciting year. We're going to be ready in Tokyo.